Greetings. Welcome back to my channel, Ham Radio Test and Review. Today I'm going to be reviewing the Tidradio TD-H3 Plus. Now this radio is still in beta, so there will be some problems that we might run across, and there might be some new features that haven't been implemented yet. But I'll go through some of those throughout the review, and we'll get to it here in just a minute. Here's the radio. As you can see, I've already got a little BNC adapter on the top there. The way you can tell that this is an H3 Plus is it says so right here on the side. So we got the little H3 Plus label right there. And it basically, other than that, is pretty much just another TD-H3. So let me get back to my computer, and I'll get the radio up close and personal, and we can go through it together. As you all know, I don't really like doing unboxing videos, but I am going to open the box just so you can see that it didn't really come with much. It came with an antenna. It came with a belt clip, which, by the way, attaches to the battery. I hate that with a passion. It came with a wrist strap, and it came with a wall wart and charging cable. But the charging cable, I believe, can also be used for programming the radio, and that's one of the neat features of the TD-H3. So that's as far as the unboxing video is going to go. So here we have the radio, and let's go through a few things together. First, let me turn it on so you can hear it.
Welcome.
All right, got a nice little sound to it, little tone, little voice, and let's go through some of this together. Now, the website for TD-H3, plus the instructions that do not come with the unit, you have to get them off the internet, basically states, and this is really hilarious, that the power rating on the transmitter is equal to or less than 5 watts. That means it can be anywhere from 100 milliwatts all the way up to 5 watts, and that's kind of ridiculous. They should probably state it's probably more like 2 to 4 watts or 3 to 4 watts, but that's what they state anyway. So the radio itself, the battery comes off very easily. Here's the label. And it says TD-H3, it does not say TD-H3 Plus. The battery itself does say that it's 2,500 milliamp hours. However, it doesn't seem very big for 2,500 milliamps. So I don't know if that rating is a little exaggerated or not. The battery also goes back onto the radio quite easily. And as you can see, I actually was able to customize the startup screen. Also, another feature of this is that you can put in your own picture if you want to put something in, or graphic if you want to have it splash across the screen when you first turn it on. Or you can also have the battery voltage come on when you turn it on as well. So let's see, what are we going to go through first? All right, so we've seen the label.
Welcome.
We've seen that the model number is the Plus model, but it doesn't actually say so on the radio. We've gone through the charger. It's the wall wart with a cable. And by the way, that cable can either connect to the bottom of the battery here, right here, or it can connect while the battery is in place. It can connect right here to the body of the radio, and it can charge it that way too. And this is where you'll connect it if you want to use USB for actually programming the channels and some of the configurations on the radio. And as you can also see, it comes with the 2 Kenwood style plugs, so you can plug in an external mic. Now, the belt clip, as I told you before, mounts to the battery. I absolutely hate that. Wrist strap it comes with, and no instructions come with it, but It does come with little color-coded labels that are supposed to go right here. So I cover up the H3 Plus. I don't know why they did that, but again, they did that. And the website, if you're interested in looking for more information on this radio, is Tidradio.com. Now, the controls that it comes with are the on-off and volume. Now, I want you to notice the volume. As I turn the volume up and down, you have a little control on the screen there. Now, that's something new for this particular model. It does transmit and receive on the GMRS frequencies. It is stated that it transmits and receives on 136 to 174 and from 400 to 419.99. However, I pushed it to its limits, and it actually does transmit and receive from 136 all the way up to 600. It only receives from 50 to 136. The color display, as you can see, is quite nice. However, the information that you get from the firmware is very, very plain, and there's not a whole lot of information. I personally don't like the way it's laid out. The first button that you see right here is the Bluetooth/menu button. So you press it and you can get the menu, and you can configure it. Or if you hold it down for a long period of time, you'll see the white Bluetooth symbol come on, and then you saw that it turned blue. Now it turned blue because it actually connected to my phone. So let's turn it off. All right. So that's the Bluetooth connectivity. Also, we have the VFO channel mode.
Channel mode. Frequency mode. Channel mode.
All right. And the white letters and numbers do not wash out completely in sunlight. So that's a good thing. The blue, the yellow, and the red do, just so you know. The items that are displayed are signal strength, which is the little antenna off in the upper left-hand corner. There are 4 lines that will be displayed as up to 4 lines as the signal comes in. There's a high-low transmit power. That's what the H is, right next to the signal strength. And it also has a keypad beep, as I'm sure you heard.
2, 1, 5, 5, 5. Frequency mode. Channel mode.
All right. So you can see what the keyboard beep and the voice do. Also over here on the right side where it says off, that tells you that there is a CTCS or DCS code on the receive side, because in most cases you're always going to find that it's off on receive. If I were to transmit, and I will do that right now, you will see
frequency mode, channel mode.
You will see that a CTCS code will appear. So it tells you that it's a CTCS code that is configured with that particular transmit frequency. Now also the W up there in the center, up near the top, tells you whether this is in wideband or it will be an N for narrowband. The battery power is in the upper right-hand corner. You can see the little battery icon. And the scale at the top, where it has a 0 to 5 and the power, is the transmit power. So when I transmit, if it's at the full power, the bar will go all the way across to the 5 and it turns red. The fonts are, some are Arial and some are like Roman, so it's a little combination of both. And we have the up and down arrow keys and the alphanumeric keys. The asterisk key over here on the short push does DTMF, and then on the long push locks the keyboard. Down here with the hash mark, you get the A and B VFO, so you can see the little green arrow at the left side, right now next to the MERS, and now next to the Intermountain. And then last but not least, if you hit the number 3 key and hold it down, it will go into scan mode. Also the number 7 key, if you hold it down, will go into Vox mode. All right, and those are all of our buttons on here. I've already shown you all the plugs over here, everything up here, including, by the way, there is a flashlight if you're really interested in that. Also, there's 2 LEDs here. They're green when they receive something. They also flash occasionally. And if the VFO-A is receiving, this LED will light up. If the VFO-B is receiving, this LED will light up. And the same thing goes for transmit. If VFO-A is transmitting, this LED will turn red and light up, and VFO-B transmitting, this LED will turn red and light up. And last but not least, we have the 3 buttons here. This is your push to talk button. This is your second push to talk button. And then this is a programmable key that you can program to do just about anything. And what I've done as far as the programming is concerned, on a short push, I get FM radio. And on a long push, I get weather. Let me put an antenna on here so you can get a better idea on what it sounds like. On the web at ParagonPlumbingInc.com. Paragon Plumbing. That'll ensure deregulation, and it's going to include border security elements. And look, you know, in the past 25 years, we've seen things that... It's actually not bad for a little tiny radio. Degrees. It's not great either. Here's the weather.
Pressure was 30. At Page, skies were sunny. Temperature was 69 degrees and the relative humidity was 23%. Pressure was 30.22.
Okay.
Skies were sunny.
All right, so there we go. Those are all the controls, the buttons, and everything that's on the radio. I'm going to come back and continue on with my review. So to continue on with our features, no cradle charging comes with this particular Plus radio. There may be a good reason for that. I don't want to start any rumors, but there is a rumor going around that the cradle charger can do something to the battery that may not be so good. So it's something for you to decide whether that is true or not, and whether that is something that you want to deal with or not. But there doesn't seem to be any issues if you charge the battery using USB-C, whether connected directly to the battery or to the body of the radio. One of the last big new features of this radio is the Bluetooth connectivity. Now, the Bluetooth connectivity is a pretty cool thing. You can connect the radio as a speaker. So you can actually play music from your phone through the radio. But the big thing is that you can also connect to it as a phone. So in other words, you can actually accept phone calls from your phone using the radio. So when a call comes in, you could press the button, I think it's the number 1 button, and it will pick up the phone, and you can actually talk and receive through the radio, and you don't use push to talk for any of that. It's all Bluetooth. The other thing that you can do is, I think you press the number 3 button to hang up, and also you have the capability of calling the last number back. I think if you press and hold the number 4 key. So those are the phone. Oh, I'm sorry. There's one more also. When you connect the radio to OD Master which is an app for your phone. You can do push to talk from the OD Master the app that you get from your app store. The thing is that I have not been able to make that work yet. So it may be still something that might be implemented a little bit later in the maturity of this particular radio. The last thing is I do want to say that even though instructions were not included with the radio, the ones on the internet are fairly they're fairly good. You can easily understand the English. It's not Chinglish or anything like that. So they're okay. They're not that bad. So something that you can look forward to if you do decide to buy one of these radios. All right. Now we have our SWR power meter connected to the TD-H3 Plus, and I'm going to do our first test on low power on the 2-meter calling frequency. I have it connected to a dummy load, so you know we won't be transmitting. So here we go, and we get 1.16 watts on low power. Now we're going to do the same thing on high power, and we get 3.67 watts on the 2-meter calling frequency. Next, we are going to do low power on the 70 centimeter calling frequency. And we are at 8.912 watts. Okay, now we're going to do high power on the 70 centimeter frequency. And that's 3.63 watts. Now, even though this is a dual band radio, I have confirmed that it can transmit on the 1.25 meter band. So I've set it up for the national calling frequency for the 1.25 meter band and put it on low power. Let's see what we get. 0.236 watts. Now we're doing high power on the 1.25 meter band, and that's a whole whopping 0.214 watts, less than on the low power. Well, shows you it's really only meant to transmit dual band, which is 2 meter and 70 centimeter. All right, you know I always like to give you everything that you might possibly want, and that last piece is that we're going to transmit low power on the GMRS frequency channel 16. And we are at 0.111 watts. All right, one last time, high power on GMRS frequency channel number 16. And that's 3.26 watts. All right, let's see if we can get a radio check out here somewhere. I've got a couple of repeaters configured here. Let's do the intermountain intertie system and see what happens. This is N8DAV looking for a radio check. Does anybody out there hear me?
Somebody on the system there, kind of noisy. Audio channel. I'll give it another 10.
All right, I'm going to get a little closer to the mic. Yes, this is N8DAV. I was just hoping that my modulation is good. Is this a little better than what you heard before?
Beautiful. It sounds about where it ought to be.
All right, well, thank you very much. This is N8DAV clear.
And we're pretty close to Sterling here on US 89. WP17, standing by.
Okay. I want you to know, before we go any farther, that repeater is 65 miles away. Now, I have line of sight to my external antenna. I do have my external antenna connected. That's line of sight, 65 miles away. Don't forget, this is only a 3.5 watt radio. So actually, I thought it did pretty good. Let's try the other repeater. This one is 45 miles away. Let's see how this one does. This is N8DAV looking for a radio check. Anybody out there hear me?
5RLN, Houston, you're sounding good here.
Thank you very much, Houston. I really appreciate it. This is Dave in Prescott, Arizona. N8DAV, clear.
And 5RLN.
All right, so there you go. Now that repeater.
87 GMRS got you in Las Vegas.
There you go. Thank you, Las Vegas. I really appreciate that. This is Dave in Prescott, Arizona. N8DAV, clear, 73.
I do that, 73.
There you go. Now that repeater is 45 miles away. It's on a very large interlinked repeater system. And as you can hear, it does pretty good. So can't really complain too much about that. But what I will do is I will set up my, I'm going to set up my repeater to my base station, and then I'm going to go out and see how well I can do with both the stock antenna and with a signal stick antenna. There we go. Let's turn that off. All right. So when you see me again, I'll be out in the field and we can do some actual field strength testing. Well, here I am at my favorite park, Pioneer Park in Prescott, Arizona. And as you can see, we have another beautiful, lovely day. And I'm out here because the park is just at the right distance from my base station at my home, with plenty of hills and buildings and power station and power lines in between that the regular standard walkie-talkies with the rubber duck antenna have a hard time getting to my station. If it has a better antenna, it has a better chance of actually getting out. So I'm going to get set up and we're going to test out first the rubber antenna that comes with the radio, and then we're going to try the same thing with a signal stick. I'll be right back. Okay, first we're going to be testing the Tidradio TD-H3 Plus with the standard rubber antenna. It's about 8.5, 9 inches long, and it seems like a decent antenna. It's a multi-band, dual band antenna, so let's see how it does. This is N8DAV, testing 1, 2, 3, testing 1, 2, 3. We're testing the TD-H3 Plus with the stock antenna.
DAV, testing 1, 2, 3, testing 1, 2, 3. We're testing the TD-H3 Plus with the stock antenna.
All right, so it did okay. Lots of static, kind of to be expected with a short stock antenna. I'm really actually surprised that it actually made it and did as well as it did. But that's really just an average result. That's not as good as I've seen or I've had in the past. So I'm going to put the signal stick on there and we'll see if that helps any. Okay, I have the signal stick dual band antenna on the TD-H3 Plus radio, and let's try it to the base station with my repeater on it. This is N8DAV testing the TD-H3 Plus with the signal stick antenna.
DAV, testing the TD-H3 Plus with the signal stick antenna.
Unfortunately, there's always a delay, and I forgot to wait for a second or two before I started talking. So it cut off the first couple of words of what I said, but you could hear it. Not as much static, but still static nonetheless. That means that the power, about the 3.5 watts that this thing puts out, is probably pretty well maxed out at this distance, even with the signal stick. So I will now go back to my home. And I'll give you my final thoughts about this TD-H3 Plus radio that is still in beta. It's still being tested, and I'm sure the firmware has not been finalized on it yet. Okay, so some of you have asked me to run the same tests that I run on my HTs using my mobile unit in my vehicle. And of course, since I drive my vehicle here, my mobile unit's always with me. So I've decided that I'm going to run 2 tests. I'm going to do it on low power and on high power. And we'll see, well, actually I could do 3 tests, high, medium, and low. So we'll try it on high, medium, and low, and we'll see how it sounds. This is NADAV testing my mobile unit on low power, testing 1, 2, 3.
This is NADAV testing my mobile unit on low power, testing 1, 2, 3.
All right, we got a little bit of static in there, probably to be expected because 5 watts between my base station and here, not always getting it. So let's see how medium power works. This is N8DAV testing my mobile unit on mid power, about 15 watts, to my base station, testing 1, 2, 3.
N8DAV testing my mobile unit on mid power, about 15 watts, to my base station, testing 1, 2, 3.
Well, that was very interesting because there was absolutely no static whatsoever. That means that not only was I transmitting to my base station static free, but it not only recorded that, but it actually sent it back static free. That gives you a good idea that when I'm working with an HT and there's static, the static's coming from the HT, not coming from the base station, except for the fact that it was recorded as static. So that's always a good sign when you know that your base station is coming static free. So any static that's heard on it is what was transmitted to it and recorded. All right. So there you have it. I'm not going to do it on high power since medium power was very, very clear and very, very good. All right. When you see me again, I'll be back at my home base in my shack, and I'll give you my final thoughts. Okay, I'm back from Pioneer Park, where we learned quite a bit actually today. So my thoughts about the TD-H3 are this. Without being the plus model, right? This is the TD-H3 Plus. Without being the plus model, this radio is, in my opinion, mediocre. I'm not terribly enamored with this radio. This is not the greatest thing since sliced bread. It is an average radio, and it has average features, and it doesn't really stand out, except this is just my opinion, it stands out in the small footprint. This is a very small footprint, and it does a lot for how small it is. However, my everyday carry radio is a much larger radio, one with a little more power, more features, and also especially with zones and banks. Very important for me to be organized and not have to scroll through 100, 150 channels just to get to one. So, it's a nice little radio for what it is, as small as it is and as compact as it is, it's good. The battery life is actually also pretty good. The sound quality is good, and the reception quality is good. One thing that I can tell you on the H3 that is outstanding over a lot of other radios, even bigger ones, is the airband reception. Whatever they did to make the AM modulation work, it works a lot better than most of my other radios. I have to give it a lot of credit for that. So you're probably wondering, why would I buy an average radio? The reason I bought the TD-H3, now I bought 2 standard TD-H3s. I had 2 specific projects that I wanted for them, and both of them were due to its diminutive size. I wanted to be able to, one, have one radio I kept around the house with me, whether inside, outside, a cheap little radio. If I dropped it, broke it, I don't really care. I also wanted something that was small and light. I could clip to my belt or put in a pouch, just walk around with it and use it with my clear node, my all-star node. The reason for this is that I want to monitor one particular channel at all times, and I wanted to keep a radio with me at all times, whether I'm in the house or whether I'm outside the house. So with that said, I decided that the H3 was probably going to be the one, but when the NIC FW firmware became available, and I loaded it on one of my H3s, and I started playing with it and testing it and putting it through its paces, and found out how stable it was. I decided that was the combination I wanted for the radio around my house. Small, diminutive size. I didn't care about how much how well it transmitted or received, because I was just doing voice, and I was just a short distance. And with the firmware, I'm able to turn the power down all the way down to about a half a watt. And to me, that's tremendous, because now that saves on battery life, and it is not transmitting way out around my house, and so there's a lot less chance of other people picking up my signal and being able to maybe manipulate my clear note. The second project that I had was I wanted an HT that I could take out and about with me, other than my regular everyday carry radio. My everyday carry radio is larger than this, heavier than this. It does everything that I needed to do, but I wanted one with a diminutive size that I could throw into a pocket, more of a deep carry type of thing, rather than something that I carry on my belt, which is pretty obvious that I'm carrying a radio. The second H3 that I bought for that reason. And I put a stubby antenna on it. I tested probably a dozen different stubby antennas, and I found one that worked okay. And I programmed all the repeaters and simplex channels, everything that I think I would need, being out and about outside of my house, out in the square, out shopping, out at friends' homes, and just out and about. And I just wanted to stay in contact with at least one repeater that I could. And that goal I've been able to do. Actually, I can stay in touch with several repeaters no matter where I am in Prescott with one TD-H3. And it's not really good for long range. There are enough repeaters around in Prescott that I'm always near one somewhere. So that's my other TD-H3. That was my other project. I bought the third TD-H3, the Plus unit, because of all the new features. I was hoping that they would improve the hardware a little bit, which so far they have not. I was hoping they would improve the transmission wattage, and they did not. I was hoping that it would do better on the 1.25 meter band. It does not. So as far as the hardware is concerned, it's pretty much the same. As far as features are concerned, most of the features are the same. However, I will make another video and go through all the menu items, because the menu items can be very different in some cases. But the Bluetooth features are the ones that really stand out with this particular radio. Well, first of all, OD Master, you can do push to talk through it, even though I haven't been able to make that work yet. I understand that it's still in the beta process, so not all features work, but I have been able to use the telephone feature. I've been able to make and take phone calls through the radio with being connected Bluetooth to my phone. Also, I've been able to play music through the radio, kind of gimmicky, and of course the radio doesn't have very good sound quality, so yeah, it's not something I would probably use. And even the phone feature I probably won't use. So I bought it to play around with, to test. But the biggest thing is I was told at some point that the NIC FW firmware might be ported over to this radio, and I found out at some point that Tidradio is no longer supporting third-party software and firmware developers. So therefore, there will be no third-party firmware for the TD-H3 Plus. Now that could change. I understand that Tidradio is rethinking its position. It still may not change. So I'm probably either going to give away this radio or sell it or whatever. I think I know somebody who wants one, so I'll probably give it to them. after I'm done with it and done testing with it and done playing around with it. So I have my other 2 radios. I can install all that third-party software on them, and that third-party firmware really transforms the radio from something that's just mediocre to something that's fairly spectacular. It's amazing what good firmware can do for a radio. It doesn't transmit any more, it doesn't receive any better, but all the information that I need and want on the screen is all available to me all the time. And the operation and the stability of the firmware is outstanding. So I can recommend to you that if you're looking for an H3 and it has the Bluetooth features that you really, really want, this could be the radio for you. A standard TD-H3, if you want to play around with the third-party software, a lot of fun, man. It's really a lot of fun. So anyway, these are my thoughts on the TD-H3. Normally I wouldn't buy one for myself, but there really isn't a better very small footprint radio on the market. That doesn't mean it's a great radio. It just means that it's better than all the other small radios out there. And also, I want to show you one more thing. I'll be right back. I just wanted to show you that I also have another small diminutive radio, and that's the Radtel RT890. It is right about the same size. I know the H3 looks a little bit smaller because it's narrower, but they're the same height. And the TD-H3 is actually thicker. You probably can't see it, but it is thicker than the RT890. So it's a little thinner in the width, but a little thicker in its girth. And but this radio, the Radtel RT890, I don't know, man. It's really not that great of a radio. The H3 outshines it in transmitting and receiving. So because I do use my HTs for transmitting and receiving, the H3 gets the nod for the small diminutive footprint projects that I have. Anyway, those are my thoughts. I don't think you can go wrong for $35 with the H3 if you need something that's this small. But for $35, you can get much better radios if being larger and more powerful is more important to you. All right, so my name is Dave. My call sign is November 8 Delta Alpha Victor. I live in Prescott, Arizona, and it's been great. Remember, one test is worth 1,000 expert opinions. So long.